was expected at 150, came in at 140. Solid numbers for private payrolls, but I don't put a lot of credence into the ADP numbers. Certainly, the market looks at them, so I look at them. Job openings. So this was a funny one because Yahoo's like, this is the lowest we've seen since 20. I'm like, what do you mean? It's 8.9? Last was 8.9. We were expecting 8.9. What are you talking about? And then I went and looked at the article, and it was actually like 8.89 million versus 8. It was literally like 20,000 less. Anyway, here's what I'll tell you. When I looked at it, it shows, maybe I can show you because it was interesting. There's the chart. I thought I saw a chart. I didn't see a chart. I swear I saw a chart. Don't want you. At one point, I thought I saw a chart that indicated where we were with job openings prior to like the pandemic and everything that happened there. We're still, like, if you look at a growth market, a strong stock market back in like 2019, the average job openings was only around 6 million. So we're still considerably above that, which I think still lends itself to saying, hey, until that number bleeds down to 5-6 million. And when you look at like something like 2008, when it was a recession, it was down around 2 million, like really not hardly enough jobs to sustain, right? That's when we're like, oh, that's problematic. So it doesn't look any, I gotta find that chart and show it to you guys. Because it was like, oh wow, like I know we've been watching job openings because we were like, hey, there's 2 jobs for every unemployed person. That's pretty strong. But I really hadn't provided myself enough context with that to make it meaningful. So looking back to see what it was, during a strong market, what it was during a bear market, it's very, very different than what we have now. What we have now is still quite strong. So that is the ADP. That's the job openings. Jerome Powell was speaking this week to Congress and Senate, and ultimately, the whole right. All of a sudden, we had a few people. It's so funny how back like you can see, even in just prognosticating for interest rates. Earlier this year, we a bit mocked UBS for saying the rates will drop 2.75%. That's how much the Fed's going to do. You're like, they only have 8 meetings, right? Like what it has to average to do that. Then all of a sudden, a week ago, some guys like, they're not going to raise rates at all this year. It's like, what? How do we have that? How do we have, an enormous bank and this great economist, and it's so far what they see. And it seems very reactive. So anyways, the Fed said they do think, though, of lower rates, but they're looking for more signs that the inflation continues to ease. They had a couple readings that stalled. PCE came in well. PCE numbers, that's going to really inform whether we're thinking June or July. Raymond, good to see you. Happy Friday, Koo. Portfolio's going well today this year. And again, that's another one that some people get complacent with. But for me, I have a very specific read that will alert me to problems arising. And it's around 250. In fact, basically what I'm looking for is if there's ever a period of time where the 3-week average is above 250, 260, 265 or higher, something like that, then I'll be like, everything will start to slow down because I'm going to think there's going to be more layoffs coming. We're going to start to see negative jobs lost. Okay, so if I see that, certainly that will throw a whole different perspective on things, but we're not seeing that. So one of the reasons I've been pervasively bullish and continue to be is that labor market. I mean, it's there's still a lot of people out there right now, talking heads, who keep wanting to be like this, they're right. So eventually, is it going to drop? Yeah, I agree. Sometime down the road, there's going to be a recession, right? But it's not now. So anyways, market's looking strong. You can see the trend held even here on this day. Trend held, bouncing. Now what? Now we're advancing today. So now it's like if you're waiting to be like, oh wait, is it moving? We've got to be catching it as it bounces, right? Like we've got to be Johnny on the spot, getting them trades ready to go. And so that's why I think it's so important that you maintain an ongoing posture. What are you? I don't deviate and fluctuate from week to week. Very minor fluctuations in shifts. And that allows you to push a little harder when you start to think, is it time? Yeah, it's time. Come on. Good morning, Faust. Good to see you. Okay, what else? So that's the question. How's everyone trading? Are you trading well? Intense Biden goes off script in fiery State of the Union. I missed it. I should go watch it on YouTube. Okay, all right. Fair enough. Positive is positive. Yeah, that's it. We know what the news is. It's the jobs. Let's just take a peek at what next week's bringing us now that we've processed this. Oh, no. So jobless claims was fine. Now we have a strong jobs report. Jobs are great. This is coming in at 3.8. Not a big deal. Next week, what do we have? Nothing Monday. Oh, look. What do we have? The Fed says we just need to see some signs. Great. Look at what we have. CPI, which means later in the week, PPI. We have some retail sales, and then we have PPI. Friday has a little bit. It's always a drop off when you have just like manufacturing, production, utilization, some sentiment. Did I miss sentiment up here? No. Yeah, so we move right into inflationary data next week, which we know the Fed that is what they're watching. That's it right there. Everything else is fine. In fact, it's so fine that they have to see that coming down and can't lower rates because the economy is strong. So, all right. What does Stella see? Market's about to open. I'm a little slow today. I get it. And there it is. Stella, slightly bullish still. Okay, fair enough. Slightly bullish will get the job done. As long as we're bullish. Why am I not typing Qs? There we go. Trading well, giving some gains to the gods, then buy more. The gods want their share, Mark. Right? The gods want their share. The trading gods must be satisfied. We all know that. Again, slightly bullish is good enough. QQQ, DIA. Good morning, Carmen. Okay. Carmen has recently sold 12 pieces of art at art shows. Congratulations. Well done. Now let's get back to succeeding at the art of trading. The Dow. Keep the gods happy. Yes, sir. NVIDIA is a beast. Slightly negative on the Dow, and I'm okay with that. You know why? I've actually been expecting the Dow's bullishness to kind of ease up if our overall bullishness continued. It's just not enough, right? We don't have enough bullishness to be, hey, we're so bullish on these enormous blue chip stocks. They're hard to move as bullish as tech stocks and small cap stocks because of their size. Period. Victor says he gives his profits to his wife, which is they demand more than the gods and deserve it. Okay. Yeah, kids. Oh, I'm literally like, oh, 2 kids in college right now, and it's insane. All I do is complain about it constantly. You shouldn't have brought it up, Victor, because now I'll probably make at least 7 to 9 comments complaining about how much money it costs. I'm with you, my friend. Okay. Yeah. So fine there, but let's go look at the small caps. Okay. GE is the new NVIDIA. GE is like this, it's like a runaway freight train, but the train was built in like 1908. You're like, what? You have these high speed trains, and then GE's just happening here. Oh goodness. So what else? IWM looks strong. Here we are in the throes of early March. What do we expect? A bounce. Little pullback, bounce again. A little pullback, bounce again. I'm expecting a bulls on parade. Huh? Bulls on parade. There's a song about it. Rage Against the Machine. But that's what I'm looking for. So lovely stuff. Yep, Victor, you got it. Mark just graduated, last kid. Love it. Love it. Okay. Let's go look at the market, you guys. No, one more thing. Fed watch. Sorry. Fed watch in March for a while. May. Oh, looky. All of a sudden, I don't know. I would have expected it to go the other way. It was at 4-1 for a while. Now all of a sudden it's like down to 3-1. There's still odds against. I still find myself in the June camp. Unless we really get like smashing numbers next week, I'm in June. If next week numbers come in, relatively strong, okay. Yeah, hoorah. July. And in July, you can see the odds of not having a cut by July are really when Jerome said, "Yeah, we're going to cut this year." Basically, it's just that we want to make sure that that inflation continues easing. It did shift a little bit. So, good morning, Fred. Good to see you. What are these charts? This right here is called the CME Fed Watch tool. So what they're looking at is market speculation on the interest rates to project probabilities, right? To project probabilities. And so what this is doing is basically saying, you'll hear people say the market's already priced in 0.25%. That's what we're looking at. Is this is what they're saying. The probability is priced in. Okay, sure. That's essentially it. What are your odds if you're going to go take a position? It's not astounding, but it is bullish. So we'll see. Do we get a little more run? It's a Friday. Are you going to hold trades through? Are you going to take any profits? It definitely looks bullish. That is for certain. Let's go take a peek, though, at the VIX. And if you weren't convinced yesterday, because you had the VIX was up here and then here. That was nice. We got a lower high. We had a nice bullish move. Took out this low. We're down here. New low. Didn't quite make it here, but that's okay. That's okay. Then we bounced, pop up, and we talked about maybe it's not going to get past this. We actually said 15. We went back into this area here. That's where we hit. And this is confirmation of what? Another lower high, which is a very bullish sign. Now it's 7 minutes into the market. So it's not bullish yet. You can't. It's very dangerous to interpret. And you might say, well, Scott, look at your stochastics. That looks perfect. But it's 7 minutes in. If all of a sudden something happens, and at the end of the day, this candle turns into something like this, that's going to turn this back up, and you're going to be like, oh, you know what? It's not quite what I thought it was yet. So we do need to, give the market a little time to settle in and make sure that it's not like, oh, we initially reacted positively. We initially reacted positively and then gave it back. Am I worried about typical seasonality downdraft in late? I don't see. We looked at if you look at our seasonal chart. Nope. Yep. You're talking about this, but remember, that's going to come after this. If we're looking seasonally, we're going to get a bump from here. We are around the 8th. That's over here. So popping up a little bit first, consolidation, and then a bigger move up. So yeah, I am worried about that. I'm not going to try to take trades that I put on now and ride them into early April. I'm going to put these trades on now, close them when this momentum runs out, wait for a small pullback, that easing in March. It's not that bad. It's not a bad ease. It's fairly easy. And then, bam, we should have another nice run going into late March through April. Now, are we going to maybe hit some sideways in the summer? Yeah, I would think we are. So spreads, if the implied volatility stays low, butterfly spreads. If you like bigger, broader, you can put on iron condors. If you don't know how to make those trades, you have until May to start studying. That's plenty of time. They're good trades. They bring balance. Delta neutral trades help when you hit periods where the market gets into lulls, and that happens, as we start to not start. I mean, it's been 4 years, but as we continue settling into like post-pandemic markets, the VIX is, finally back down into nice standard bullish market areas. We seem to have gone through the whole inflation and supply chain and all those issues it's a global economy. Things don't just, you got to get your shit together, man. Now, here's what I'll say though. Look at, and also is Kevin, are you here today? Kevin called out gold, and I'm like, what? Gold's not really moving, and then bam, bam, it smashed. Well done, man. You saw a little something there. I don't think it's like a global cabal of gold buying, but it definitely broke out where it was going sideways. Anyways, last Friday we had that conversation. But if you look at like the big seven, it's only the big seven. Look where Apple is. Look where Google is. They're not participating. And what's the market doing? Ongoing strength. Now, it looks like we may be down here at some levels that we're going to shore up at. I'm waiting for, from right here, what would I need to trade Apple? I have no interest in thinking, I'm going to buy the bottom. That's not what I'm interested in. I'm interested in, because what I don't want is for it to do this and then bammo and then realize, it's not done. It's not done being cheap, Fred. Am I right? But if it can V up, which means what? I'd say it has to get at least back up into this area here through this gap. If it can get back up into here, I'll be like, okay, buyers. Okay. Then as long as the sellers don't do as much, I need to see that, because I do feel like this when it steepens, it actually makes it easier for the reversal to develop. That's my experience. You can see the same kind of a thing happened over here. It's just we never really, earnings came and we never got our signal, and Apple just launched. By the time you got an opportunity, you really only got one trade out of it. But I got that one. Okay. Silver, yep. Let's go through. AIG, yeah. Waiting. I'd love to tell you that I got this, but I did get this, and that was the end. Yeah, okay, fair enough. No need to torture ourselves. AMD, strong, still going. These are tough. If you're still in it, well done. Love it. It's overextended. It's not tradable now. Amazon looks like it's trying. It's not today, but there's your pullback. There's your turn. Look at your stochastics. That's a viable trade. If you like retail and consumer discretionary has been strong, that's a viable beginning. Sometimes it begins a little slow and then speeds up. So yeah. Let's see what Stella thinks. If I see one, I'm going to ask Stella if she agrees. Okay. Let's see. Flat, slight bump. All right. Fair enough. Turned, bounced, moving, still going. Right? Still going. Okay. Boeing, nothing. Okay. Did anybody go watch the Daily Show expose on Boeing and see all that? I thought it was funny. Not a good look for Boeing, to be fair. Not a good look. BLDR, strong, man. I mean, like you can see a lot of these in financials and industrials, they just keep giving these flags. And again, what do we call a number of flags in a row? Bulls on parade. BX, it's kind of flat, but if you think this might be where it bounces off the 50, I don't like it. I want to see more momentum coming into it. Citigroup keeps on marching. I believe I hit my first target today and booked some gains. I'm going to carry that through and see if we can get to the second target. So, yeah, that looks good. But it's not a trade now. I mean, it's not. You look at what's left and you see why it's so important for us to be catching these things here, not up here. Down here, we have all this left and only this below us. Up here, we only have this left and all this down below us. We can't, it's untenable. You can't do it that way. Got to be in sooner. Caterpillar, that was one that just really wasn't, that was a tough one. I don't do well with 1-2 day consolidations. I need like 3 days. I need the full flag. Capital One, that's a maybe. Oil kind of flat. Costco, Costco's earnings. They were expecting 360. They got 392. So it wasn't the earnings that got them. Had to be the expectations. So now my last trade was here. And then it kind of just like popped without, it was just boom. That was out of nowhere. If you notice, this one down here, the stochastics was drifting down while it went. Buy the earning or buy the rumor, sell the news is what happened here. But overall, if you look, it's still in line with this prior trend. So this got a little over anxious. I still like it, but we've got some waiting to do now. CrowdStrike's earnings were crazy, but Yeah, we got to just kind of let this thing settle into what it's going to settle into. Right? CSX. Tried to catch one here. Moved. All right. That was a break-even trade right there. If you caught it early enough, got out, and now what? Possibly setting up again. So I have no problem. And the reason why I do is because so many times earlier in trading, I would get in, it would give a bit of a false start, I'd get out, and then it would give another signal. And I'm all like, oh, fool me once. And then all of a sudden it takes off, and I'm like, oh, shit, I was right. I just was a little too early. That's not uncommon to have like a little false start, come back down, and you're like, oh, I was wrong. And then it does what you thought. So be ready. As long as it doesn't break this low, this is still a viable trade for me, and I will take the second trade. Delta. We went up, we pulled back. That's a little early, but that's viable. Day 3, right? This is where we were turning out. Look at your stochastics turning. What were we waiting for? It broke out, made a new high. And I don't mean a new high compared to these. I mean compared to this. This trend was fine. So, DHI. I think that's still an open signal. I think you probably have a Heikin-Ashi candle that could help you to put a stop. So stop will be below yesterday's low, 151.88. I mean, you're only taking $4 a risk. When this thing moves, it can definitely catch. So if you think there's 8 ahead of us, there's still a trade here. 2-to-1 on a continuation trade. How's my sound? I just got a message that I may be experiencing degraded audio quality. My sounding all right still? AMD is all good. Okay, AMD is way overextended, right? Oh, come on. I'm a little concerned that I'm seeing some internet issues here. Come on. My charts don't want to work. Sound is fine. Is anyone else having Thinkorswim issues on your charts? AMD, yeah. See how AMD is way extended. Can't do it. What was the other one? ARM, ARM. Yeah, I mean a huge earnings gap and then just kind of sideways. Remember, we saw IBM go into something like that as well. Here's the Dow today. Dow looks good. Ford, bit of the rest on this sell-off day. Now what? Setting up again. It's setting up again. So, not tradable yet, but it's close, and I would trade the next one. Fast and all. Overextended. GBTC. Oh, maybe trying to move. There's G. Oh my God, it's GE's going parabolic. That old freight train's gonna break a hip. Oh God, it's amazing. There's there's probably a lot of retired folk that just get little dividend checks that are like, oh, looking at their statements that are going off. Kevin, did you come late? I said something to you earlier. Gold, there it is. You can see it had that break. It's up here, slowing down now. Google, and I'm like, no, it's not. It's broad. It's broad. I've got six bullish sectors that are just smashing higher. And you can see that's why we're not really phased, the market, etc. What do I need to see from Google? I need to see this consolidation line break. So if I got a few more of these and I'm all of a sudden back here, I'm like, oh, okay. Hello, buyers. And then what? And then I need to see it hold. And that's the trade. Same kind of thing. We already saw it back here. Break back out, hold. That's one trade. Stochastics lined up well. Pulls back, higher, low, two trades. Bam, looks great. Pulls back, higher, low, three trades. Up, back, four trades. Right? That, when we see these reversals, is what we're great. If consolidated, if we get this, I'm going to be thinking I have got 3 to 4 trades lining up. So fear greed index at 75. I don't know what that index is. The fear index. And when I say I mean capital T, capital TH, capital E. The fear index is the VIX. Anything else is a byproduct and is not as strong. I want the source. Built that index. CNN? No. Yeah. I'm sure they tried to create something that involves some things, but I'm gonna say no. I'm going to say no to that for me. I'll go look at it. But my fear index is on point and has served me well through the years. Google, we're waiting. Home Depot looks magical. I told you I'm convinced. I've doubted it a couple of times. Right. I don't know what it is, but I wanted Home Depot to know I'm on board. I'm ready. I'm ready for the next trade. Let's get this trade ready to go. IBM overextended, waiting for the pullback. Intel, okay. So I thought, I don't see anything yet, John. I mean, there's portfolio's not in a could. I have enough. I'm not looking. If you're looking, there's trades you could put on, like I said, but I think we're still kind of more in a wait than not. Intel, it's a little choppy, but I'm still waiting for the next, I guess, standard consolidation, meaning I don't want where I get one candle and then bang, it's gone at the end. I'd like to see a nice little pullback. City's great. I hit my first target today on City and booked some gains, and I'm looking to carry the rest of it through to the second target next week. Looks great. I think it's a little overextended though. AXP may be a little better. IWM looks great. Look at the small caps. Right? We for a little while there, they took off and we're like, yeah, like that made us really, that kicked our bullishness into gear back in October, November. But then everyone's like, wait a second. They're like, they're going to start cutting rates in February. and they're going to cut it 2.5% this year. And then they're like, no, that's not going to happen. This was the primary adjustment. So when we adjusted expectations, really it impacted small caps the most. And that's what you would expect with interest rate sensitivity, is to impact, stabilize. And now the small caps, they really went, look at this battle through here. This battle for small caps to maintain. And then to me, that really enforces the bullishness of this market. If small cap, I could still be bullish without small caps, just less so. But with small caps surging, it's like they're starting to, just like now, whether they're pricing Fed movement in and then the Fed disappointment and they adjust, or they happen to catch it the right time, remains to be seen. But I see this as strong. JP Morgan overextended. Meta strong. Meta's big seven action is good. Microsoft holding up, trying to bounce. So Microsoft's gone a little sideways, but I'll tell you what, extended consolidation gets to the 50. I think this is viable. So if you're looking for tech, absolutely. And I think you should have, if I put my stop underneath here, 402.24, let's say 401.75, that's about $7 of risk. That's not even 2%. That's a great tight stop. If I was looking to try to catch what? Well, could I catch 20 points? If I'm risking 7, can I catch 20? 20 is only a 5% move. That seems reasonable, right? And so 20 puts us here. Buyable. That's a tough one, right? We really want to be careful about chasing into trades. My rule of thumb is it's I want the first white, but no later than the first momentum. And now you're on the second momentum. So I feel late. Now, if you ever wanted to still, you could always come in with a tighter stop. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of a hard question to answer, but that's the type of measurement that I use for myself. Netflix looks like it's trying to pop again. That's a nice, strong communication services stock. NVIDIA, my God, NVIDIA. My God, you magnificent bastard. What do we have? Flags. Break. Go. Flags. Okay. I love bull flags. Bulls on parade. PCAR, a little overextended. Third in the world now, huh? Well, they are going to be part of our AI overlords at one day, I would imagine. The seeds of our AI overlords are already in the works. QQQ looks strong. Ross Stores trying to hold up after earnings. I had a great trade on Ross Stores right before earnings. SFCI also magnificent. Trying to do its best NVIDIA impression or its best GE impression. I don't know, whichever. Whoa, the market's going now. Looking bullish. So what? So yeah, trades on, carrying trades through the weekend. Absolutely. Absolutely. Trades available. Microsoft. TPR. Ooh, TPR looked like it was going to go, and then it sort of stalled. That's looking maybe. TSM. Oh, TSM also looking good. That was a tough one because that was like this weird, like 2-day consolidation. Somebody caught it and then they left. So I'm sorry that they left and didn't get to brag because I would have given them props. TR, Palantir. Oh, Bob, that was you? Oh, I thought it was someone else. Someone else made a comment about it too. That's a good catch. Not to get shook out on those red candles. Pat yourself on the back for that one, my friend. I don't know about Palantir. You know I love Palantir from the summer. But yeah, I think it looks overextended right now. It just looks funkier. I think I'd be waiting for a pullback on that one still. UNP setting up. I tried CSX, broke even, still looking at it, but I'm looking at this one too. I like the railroads. I would trade them. VIX. VIX looks fine still. Waste management. It's kind of trying. If you traded it, you'd probably still be in it. It hasn't really gone wrong. Hasn't really gone right. Walmart is strong. Good catch here. Nice move up. You can see today giving back a little bit though. XBI. Biotech looks like it could be setting up. So if you have any biotech, go back to that one. XLC, so communication services were a little sideways, but seem to be breaking out again. Energy grinding a little higher. I'm okay with a little higher. I'd rather energy stay down. I don't want any inflationary pressures. So I'd rather energy and materials stay down. But materials seems to be, I mean, it's not it's when you look at the scale, it's not like crazy, but it did break out. That is going to put pressures. Financials look great. Industrials look great. Those are two of my favorites right now. I would say in the last 2 months, I've had more industrial and financial than anything else. XLK starting to move again. Staples pulling back a little with Costco and Walmart, but overall still looks good, and I would still trade it. Utilities, same thing. I mean, it's moving a little higher, but it's not looking defensive in its movement yet. Healthcare looks tradable and actually still moving. And consumer discretionary, that looks very tradable and bouncy. Amazon looks good. DHI looks close. TPR looks close. So we see consumer discretionary strength. Okay. Why not Tesla was the question. Here is the answer. It's a dumpster dive. Right? It's a dumpster dive. It's at the very bottom in the last 6 months. That's its lowest price it's been. Right? And so who's in control? Sellers. Even in here when the buyers are like, we're going to try, and they couldn't even get this gap filled. Got to the bottom of the underside of the 50, bounced down, got slapped. Get that out of my house. Get that out of my long-term momentum. Long-term, if we go look at this, it's also going down. It just had another lower high, and it's breaking this low. So no, for long-term, I need to see the same thing. When things start to go down, until I see a break, a higher high and a higher low. So for example, there is a consolidation. There's the break. Bam. This is what we're looking for. But this is from the long term. I'm actually looking for that on the short term. So don't want to trade something because you like the company or you like I hope it's not because you like Elon Musk, because I can't stand that guy. And you hear about the stock or not, you like the cars or not. What do you see on the chart? You see buyers, you're bullish. You see sellers, you're not. Simple. Is he still the richest? Probably, that lunatic. Is he the richest? His kids can't stand him. None of them, apparently, right? Like none of his kids. He's got like 15 kids from like 6 different people. None of his kids, none of his baby mamas can stand him. Like, you have all the money in the world and your kids can't stand you. You're not rich at all, in my opinion. So, okay. Enjoy it, Bond villain. All right. So, man, we got derailed today. My ADD is on fire. Hey, it's really good to see you guys. So Kevin I agree with you, man, on that. He made a comment about corrupt Congress. Yes. All of them. You look at the insider trading report and the top 8, you got 4 Republicans and 4 Democrats. They're all it's so problematic for sure. I agree. Anyways, it's good to see you guys. Have a wonderful. Amazon passed them. Amazon passed them. I agree, Ian. I agree. They all look overextended. Looking to get out, look for another entry. Fabulous. 100%. I'm 100% in agreement with you there. So, anyways, yeah. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Is that true? Buffett's kids didn't like him? I thought they did. I thought that he had a good relationship. I have to go look into that, Jeff. Yeah. So, anyway. Have a great weekend. I won't see you till Wednesday. I always miss you guys. Vlad hasn't gone on vacation for a while. It's coming up to the summer. He's going to go on vacation. We'll get like a week straight with each other soon. All right, everyone. Happy trading.